welcome to the Bearhug Club, a pro wrestling podcast of positivity.
All right. It's Wednesday. It's 6:30 p.m. You know what that means. It's time for the Bearhug Club podcast.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Who's this coming in?
What? It's a run-in.
It's a run-in.
With a... That's not a briefcase. That's a
money in the Stella crate.
Money in the Stella crate.
Money in the box. Money in the box of Stella. And there's the money. Here we go. There's all my postman tips I got over Christmas because they didn't pay in card. Oh no! I got literal notes everywhere. Now I need to pick up.
What did you say? They didn't pay in? They can pay in card to tip a postman. Do you walk around with a card reader?
I wish. Yeah. No, I'm just like no one. It's just no saying that, but just no one takes cash anymore anyway. So now it's just.
Yeah,
I see it more.
You have to frame that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an antique in 5 years' time. I genuinely had the other day an Uber driver spend 25 minutes briefing me on cryptocurrency, and you know what? I'm sold. Andres, if on the off chance that you're watching this.
Did he try to sell you any particular coins or
no? He didn't say. He didn't say what he was investing in. I kept mentioning like Bitcoin, Dogecoin. You know the ones you told me about.
I'm gonna check up right now, just in honor of Andres.
Actually,
my Dogecoin that I bought for about $5 is up to $56. So okay,
there we are.
All right. Well, you know what, Andres? How you been, Scott?
I've been.
Yeah, we should point out Scott is now joining the crew, and he's also apparently bankrolling us with all that coin he's got. So welcome to the club! Yay!
Did you just pull up some wine as well as the Stella you're drinking?
I had it with dinner earlier, and I spent so long drinking this one glass that I.
So you currently have a can open and a glass of wine.
Yeah, actually, it fits in already.
It's a bottle.
Actually, it's a bottle.
It's a bottle.
All right. Well, I'll continue with my 35p orange juice carton.
Scott is like one step away from being that Mitchell and Webb looks sketch where he goes to the petrol station, gets a loaf of bread, an apple, and then 2 cans of strong lager.
Actually, I appear to only have £1.35 on me.
Maybe I should get 2 cans of this lager beer you so recommend, just in case one doesn't
quench my thirst.
Perishing thirst. Yeah, so maybe you should take a nap on the curb outside. What a wonderful idea!
I miss that Mitchell and Webb look.
Oh mate, so I watched all the highlights of season 2, and I'm saying it, season 2, best season. Although despite the fact my favourite sketch is the post-apocalyptic game show, which comes in the later seasons.
Which became very realistic during COVID.
Oh, incredibly.
Don't go outside and don't think of the pandemic.
Speaking of later over-bloated seasons, Raw was on Monday.
So we'll kick it off.
I think we might as well bring it back to wrestling. This is the WrestleMania Hangover 2021, because it's no longer the post-show. It is now the hangover of WrestleMania. Because every year at WrestleMania, it doesn't matter that the build-up's been shite. It doesn't matter that, sometimes it doesn't even matter if the match has been subpar. As long as it ends well, WrestleMania is bloody great. And this WrestleMania, both days, awesome. I really enjoyed a lot of the matches. I think night 2 had a really good idea in getting the Fiend match over with. So, and then the rest of it was great. I just honestly, solid show, start to finish. Main event night 1, solid. Main event night 2, absolutely solid. And then Raw.
Raw.
We'll get to all that first, but let's do an order. So obviously we're going to go through the whole of the main points of WrestleMania week. So why don't we start good and start with Takeover, which I think was one of the best takeovers they've done in a long while. And then I think we said that a lot of times in the previous ones, but this one really did feel like one of the most solid takeovers they've done in a long time. Right, we don't have to go through everything because it was obviously another 2-night event, but highlights to me, I think the standout match was definitely Ciampa and Walter.
I completely 100% agree. I would say that match is at a level with Cole and O'Reilly. I think they're drawing, but for different reasons because they do different styles of match. But both of them, there wasn't one moment when I wasn't looking away from the screen. Like during bits of WrestleMania, despite how good WrestleMania was, I'd look over and I don't know, stare at my lamp for a little while and think about life. But those two matches and a lot of Takeover just had my full attention and I was fully invested. It was just good wrestling.
You compare it to Cole and O'Reilly, and that's where the difference is. Cole and O'Reilly told a story that's been going on for a very long time, and story-wise, that's what elevated the match. Walter can just kind of show up and beat the shit out of someone, and it's the best match on the card. And then when you let him tell a story as well, like his program with Dragunov, it just elevates it even higher. And he's the kind of champion that I would never want to see beaten. I'm hoping it becomes like that. I hope it's how long has he had it now? Like 600 days?
He's beaten done, so he's the longest reigning. It's getting there.
I think
like 2 years or something. It's crazy.
The longest in over 20 odd years or something like that. Longest WWE reign since I want to say either the late 80s or early 90s or something.
Was Punk beaten by anyone?
I think Walter and Dunn surpassed.
Walter and Dunn.
They did because since them has anyone beaten Punk? Because that was 430 odd.
No, I don't think they did. I reckon Vince probably wanted to do it, but then it's that's another year and a bit.
Well, he has to commit.
A champion. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he wanted to. I'm sure he wanted to with Jinder. I'm sure he wanted to with whichever one Reigns won at the time. But they don't seem to have any kind of. They just have commitment issues. To be honest, I think they need to get out of the dating pool. I don't think Vince has.
Grow up, Vince. You're not a teenager anymore.
Yeah, there's some kind of daddy issues going on, right? His dad was this, guy that would never, break up the territories, and then out of spite for his father, he was just like, "I'm gonna break up all the territories," and
maybe it's another bit of long-term booking, but it's like the longest-term booking, and it's all leading up to one big match eventually somewhere down the line. Vince versus his dad back from the grave.
Vince versus his dad versus Shane versus. Whoever Shane's kid is,
one of them. He's got three.
that's true. There can only be
all
one.
All three of them on the shoulders in a big.
With a big trench coat.
I've just come back from the business factory where I do business.
Nice. But yeah, you're absolutely right about Wall. I mean, you can literally just bring him in, and it'll just be. The match tonight. There was about Walter. I'm bringing it back around. Because there wasn't much build to it, but then when we actually watched the hype package, the little story they did tell was pretty good going into it. But you're absolutely right. You could just put him on there without any build, and it would just steal the show. I think, and he just wants to smash people and tables with his bare hand, apparently.
Oh yeah, my God, that bit
tasty.
Because it wasn't even an even cut. It looked like
I don't know. I want you to go back and look at it. It was very It was to me. It was very much just let's just kind of saw it a bit. That if you got a toy of it, which if they ever make a Walter special edition, it will probably come with that table. It would just be like a zigzag cut on it that would just clip together and then just unclip like that. I have one of those. I think for the Kevin Owens. The Kevin Owens Chris Jericho Bachelor Friendship one. That's just
the standard
just
thing with anything that breaks in two as an accessory. Yeah.
But otherwise, it was so good.
Incredible.
So good.
So good. But yeah, other than that, I'd say you're right. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole was again another show stealer. It's very much kind of like the new Ciampa and Gargano feud, really, isn't it? It's something that I guess has had. Well, they haven't really long-term booked it like they could with Gargano and Ciampa, but then they had the whole thing with Ciampa being injured to build it that way. Do you reckon we're going to see more out of them two going forward, or do you reckon it was just this one and done affair?
Well, it shows this clip right after the match of them both. It's incredible because I saw this on their Instagram, because this is something I might not have seen on their other stuff. But they were getting pushed onto separate stretchers through the hospital, and they're still mouthing off at each other as they're going through the hospital after their separate treatment. I think that's amazing. I want to see more of that, and. It looks like Cole was still really, really mad, despite the fact that he's so injured. So I'm hoping they do a.
No, they should do Hell in an ICU.
Hitting each other with IV drips.
They don't say anything. They're just during a takeover. It cuts to a vignette, and it's just like Adam Cole, and just like beep. And then he leans up, looks over, and the curtain pulls back, and it's just Kyle. And then they just start fighting. Just why not? just like, I mean, why not? You know, just fight in a hospital ward, and then they go
full hospital.
They make it a whole comedy bit, and they're just fighting, and they walk into a thing. The camera stays there, pans up, and it's like infectious diseases. And then they fight out the other side of the door, and they've all got like pusses and boils on them. You know, why not? Why not?
An old man falls down the hallway. They grab his colostomy bag. One of them gets hit by it. You know that's gonna happen because Vince loves poop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hands down. Just chucking urine samples at one another. Like, go whole hog with it. Throwing doctors at one another. Get the nurses in.
I think I'm going way darker than anyone needs to. I just imagine them like just like Adam Cole knocks Kyle out and then throws him onto a bed. And we're like, oh, this is really weird. And then he goes outside, and then he presses a button, and the camera pulls back to reveal he's in like an X-ray machine. And then Kyle goes like, "Am I all right?" And then Cole looks at him and goes, "Yeah."
The only match ever to end with just the rekindling of a friendship straight away. I'm so sorry, man.
Well, Adam actually finds a tumor, and they're just like, oh, and then the match it just says like 6 months later, and he's like just getting released, and Cole's waiting there for him, like, "You okay, buddy?" He's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, oh, okay. And then they start fighting again in the parking lot. That's long-term booking, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're booking the too many cooks of pro wrestling.
That's what needs. I think that's While we're still in COVID times, right? We need the too many cooks cinematic match to happen right now before it's too late.
We just need two superstars that are feuding to be off screen for like 6 months, and then when that 6 months is up, it shows that they've still been having the same match. That's why they've been off, and they do a 6-month recap on what's just happened over that time. And like you said, it's like a too many cooks kind of thing, where they basically go on a long tour around the country having this match with one another.
I'm here for it.
Anyway, Takeover was good.
Takeover was good.
Really good.
Bunch of new champions as well. Karrion Kross won the belt back. I was still unsure going in if it would be him, but then I think that they're clearly like, we need to just keep putting everything on this guy.
Well, that's the definition of like a transitional champion, right? Someone gets injured, you give it to someone else to give it back to them. And I think to be able to tell a lot of the story that they did with Balor during that, props, you know. It meant that it wasn't just like he won it, nothing happened, and then he got rid of it. He ended up being like a really pivotal part of the Undisputed Era feud, and you know, aiding in that Cole O'Reilly story, and probably now being able to continue that story. So that's really good. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more Balor O'Reilly teaming up, something like that, you know.
Yeah, no, I'd be down for that. And I mean, they're really sort of stacking up the main event scene again. So obviously you've got Kyle O'Reilly now in that main event picture. Finn Balor, and if he is sticking around, will still be there. I reckon we'll get a rematch between those two. And then maybe Adam Cole whenever he's due back from this injury angle that they're doing. But yeah, overall Takeover was definitely the highlight in terms of wrestling across the whole week. So yeah,
for sure. And props to Raquel Gonzalez as well, who absolutely enjoys absolutely deserves the.
I'm sure she enjoys it too.
She probably does enjoy it. She deserves to enjoy it. Yeah.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
This belt can't hold up my trousers. It's way too big.
No, very much props to her. But yeah, no, Takeover was absolutely solid. Obviously, following that would have been the Hall of Fame, which we touched upon a little bit last week, and how weird it was. The whole thing just basically looked like a 2K cutscene. My friend said, "I agree." Yeah. It's because with the way they just had to. It's not as bad as me watching a match and they've pumped the sound in. You can kind of like get away with it a little bit, even though we know. But when it's someone stood on stage talking and they're having to match everything to the way they're talking, and it looks like they're trying to talk to a crowd that isn't there, it just felt like a cutscene from a video game.
Yeah, it does feel like because if you ever played those cutscene ones or like those promo ones in the 2K games, it's actually just like you like get out, like get the cheers, and then you press A or X or whatever, and then it's just like I want to thank everyone, and then suddenly it pumps back into the crowd again. I just can't do the canned crowd stuff because I can't not hear when it begins to repeat, and I just single out that one like particular cheer, and then I hear it again and again and again, and it's like it's just not. It just doesn't work, and especially there when the wrestling's happening, there's other sounds going on at least, and you can just kind of get lost in that. But when someone's trying to say like, "Thank you all, everyone watching," and then you hear like "Woo," and then they're like, "I really want to thank my brother," and then you hear "Woo," and then they're just like, "Oh, and that darn JBL, woo."
It's just when they play the laugh track after they think they've done an absolute zinger, and you're just like, well, that wasn't funny.
It's like in You've Been Framed. I've watched it. Me and my family watch it so many times now. I can tell it's an episode of You've Been Framed because there's always a baby crying in the laugh tracks, and I don't know if they just recorded all these laugh tracks on the same day because that baby is crying throughout, and he's crying in every one, and I can tell which one they use because the baby's crying in a different way in each one. So it's to the point. It's the same with the cam thing in the Thunderdome now. It is like Garrett said, I'm starting to notice the same people laughing.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, it was nice watching a Hall of Fame that was short. It wasn't like a 4-hour overblown thing. At least they kept it concise. And I think everyone was deserving this year, and it was worth it seeing RVD go in just for that backstage promo of Riddle at Mania. Weed is technically like canon in WWE now. How about that?
Weed is canon. As if weed didn't exist in the lore.
Like they've never mentioned it before, but now in law of WWE, weed is somewhat canon. Get yourself some RVD roll papers.
They're one of a kind.
I'm sorry, but the best part about that backstage thing was just Great Khali just kind of stood there.
Just not knowing what the fuck was going on. But yeah, I mean, Hall of Fame was good for what it was. But then WrestleMania, and talking about night one, talking about the best long-term booking ever, though. God getting his revenge on Vince for 2006 Backlash. The show starts perfectly with Vince doing this big opening, and it was just so weird watching it because all I could see was the fans behind Michael Cole just going, What? And I was like, well, something's happened there. Then they all just start leaving. I'm just like, wait, where are you going, guys? Where are you going? And then it's just 45 minutes of them pulling everything out their arse that they can just to get it gets going.
Was some of the best parts of WrestleMania, genuinely, because there was no script, because they were just like, Bobby, you talk, Drew, Heyman,
watching
and that was great.
Watching the New Day without a script was just sick. It was so it was refreshing. Like, oh, imagine what these guys could do, genuinely, which made it so much more sour when we get to Raw later. But we'll get, of course, we will get to Raw later.
Remind me to talk about how scripted Rhea sounded.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh.
But anyway, then the first match began.
Well, hang on. We didn't get into the best part about then, which was Michael Cole and Samoa Joe in ponchos.
Yeah. I was just about to say with a suit underneath as well.
They weren't going to take the suit off, were they?
Oh, I'm fine.
just Samoa Joe and Michael Cole completely naked in a poncho, like a see-through poncho.
Please. I want to see Michael Cole's weird tattoos again. That's what I want.
Oh dear. Yes. Cracking on with night one then. Let me just get up the lineup and we'll kind of run through it. Results. Yep. So obviously the night opened with Bobby Lashley versus defeating Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Who here had Lashley for this one? Because I picked Drew stupidly. Wait, Jace is here.
Oh,
hey buddy.
Out and about. Another running.
He's gone.
Run in and run back out again. Like,
hey Jace. Bye Jace.
I forget who I have. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. I'm only here for 2 minutes. I'm on a fag break.
All right. How's work?
Yeah, it's all right. It's my first day.
Ooh, nice.
I just came to say the champ is here.
Yeah, I mean that was the biggest letdown this weekend. Both me and Scott failed to beat Jace.
Yeah, I wasn't in contention, but I got the same amount of points, so whatever.
So even if you were in contention, the title would have stayed with me.
All right, well, can you get rid of him, Greg, please? He's kind of ruining the show right now. So no, that's the opposite of what I wanted.
See, this is the show.
I mean, the show was going pretty well until you showed up.
Anyway, what match were you talking about?
We just literally started talking about McIntyre versus Lashley. I picked McIntyre. Although originally I'd put Lashley, so I got quite mad at myself for changing my mind.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I said Lashley.
It just makes sense.
I think McIntyre's taking it. I think McIntyre's going to take it at SummerSlam.
I mean, that would probably be the obvious way. I mean, it looks like they're maybe putting him about the title picture for now, because Lashley did the whole thing of he needs to work his way up to fighting me. But they don't really have many big names on Raw at the moment that could challenge Lashley, where it's believable. I mean, they buried the fuck out of Riddle on Raw, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. I have a lot to say about Raw.
Yeah.
I had Drew because I thought I thought they were going to be like, okay, Drew hasn't been like this big credible champion in front of the crowd yet. I thought they were going to give him because his big Mania moment came without a crowd last year.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, surely he's going to get the win then because he's almost owed a crowd reaction for a Mania match. But then I forgot that Bobby Lashley is sick and MVP is sick. And the Hurt Business was sick. We'll get to that too. But MVP and Lashley, such a good duo. I almost want to see Leo Rush with them. But no, yeah.
New Japan strong right now, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, that is very fair. But the match was a great, almost like a classic WWE good Hoss battle match kind of thing. I enjoyed it.
It's I can understand why people would want McIntyre's crowning in front of a crowd. I think this was the smart idea, though. I think people have actually already soured to Drew winning again. Not soured to him. I don't think they don't think they want to boo him, but I think it's not the time. I also don't think it was a good idea to have him already on Raw. Talking ahead here, already on Raw, be booked for WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that later.
There's a lot we're getting to later.
What's the one after Backlash?
WrestleMania Money in the Bank.
WrestleMania Backlash Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I like how they said it was on Wrestle Talk. I like how they said, I can't wait for next year's WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 37-2.
Electric.
Wait, WrestleMania 37-2 Night 3 and 4. But yeah, it wasn't the time. If you're gonna do a Drew win again, let it be next year. Let there be a full crowd. Let it be in the fucking UK. Do a show up north. You know,
do one in Glasgow.
You don't need to. They'll do it'll be a London show or a Manchester show. I'm
lovely
sure.
Stadium.
it will be London or Manchester, but you know, do it as north as you can get it. You know, for example, don't come down to my end. Don't come to Plymouth. I'm sure we'd still cheer for Drew, but it's not going to be the same. Do that. Have it be against whoever beats Lashley if they're a heel, or Lashley down the line if he's done some good heel work. And you know, this was not the right time. This was the good call. Yeah, solid opener.
Or have it in Glasgow, then they book Drew to lose, and it'll be the first time they have a legit Riot on their hands since maybe the 70s.
It would make for good press. Well, yeah, all press is good press.
Yeah,
it'll make for press.
People will be pressed.
But yeah, nope, solid opener. It was just a solid, good hoss fight. I agree. After that, it was the tag team turmoil match, which was it was the weakest match of night one. It was only really entertaining for the fact that Mandy Rose fell on her ass and bounced, which was the best.
And we'll get to that later too. But no, like other than that as well, I also want to get your opinion on another thing, the both of you, and that is the Riot Squad's finisher, because they used it twice, and twice they got a pinfall victory over one of the tag teams. Does it look awkward? Because I think it looks awkward.
What's the move again?
It's almost like a kind of weird backstabber thing, and then Ruby Riot comes down for a senton whilst the position of the backstabber is being held.
Oh yeah,
it's always like a backstabber or a code breaker, if I remember rightly. It's one of the two.
I think it's a backstabber and they're held there.
Yeah, but it's like, it looks like a very awkward thing to sell, because you got to remain balanced on Liv Morgan, but also convincingly look like you're dead.
Well, to be honest, that would probably kill, because there's no give really. There's no bump that you take. There's just, it's like people always talk about one of the worst moves to take is Jeff Hardy's Swanton, because you just get landed on, and I don't know. It depends how much pressure they put on the knees and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like it could be a decent finish. We just need more women's tag matches going on. I think. And different people winning and stop breaking up already established teams.
Exactly.
I mean, when you look at that list, wasn't it literally just the Riot Squad who were a proper tag team?
Yeah, well, they were a proper tag team, but they're also, a woman short. So
that's why I had them down to win, because I had Riot Squad to win, and it was really good for me.
Foolish boy.
Tag teams don't win in the tag teteam division.
Imagine writing down something like Iconics or Riot Squad. You foolish, or were they Fire and Desire? Yeah, imagine. No, it's foolish. Foolish.
I missed it.
We know that women's tag teams may only last at most 3 weeks. At most.
It's sad.
And that's all I got to say about
and that. And Tamina's also... the reason I didn't put that team, I was like, oh, and Tamina's also there. That's great. And I was like, yeah, that team's getting stomped. They won. So I was like, fine.
People are actually weirdly behind Tamina, especially in the back. Oh.
I mean, probably because she's been there for so long.
Right.
Yeah,
she hasn't been given anything over. She has, I think, one of the lowest win rates in all of WWE. It's something like 20%. For how long she's been there. So don't get me wrong, I don't like them as a team. I don't think she's, she's fine, whatever. But if they're going to give us something, they should probably, do it as soon as.
Well, I feel like
story out of it. I don't care.
This is somewhat a Mania moment, even if it didn't result in her winning the tag belts.
Right? Yeah. To get a win at Mania is solid.
With one of the worst looking Superfly splashes, but hey ho. Following that, it was probably tied for my favorite match of the weekend, which was Cesaro and Seth Rollins. I don't think anyone was in doubt that this was going to be a solid match. And
especially since the build was, I don't want to be swung. And that was it.
That's all you needed. That's why it was so good. I'll tell you what, though, I don't watch the Smackdown and Raw weekly, but I am loving when they show the high package, the whole campaign videos Seth Rollins creating.
Yeah, no, them showing that was the build. That was fine
because they had that, and then I just love how at the end it's like the thing in American campaign videos where it's like this video's paid for by the team of Seth Rollins kind of thing. It was just so perfectly done. But yeah, the match itself was just it was always going to be good. I mean, these two basically went up through the indie scene together, and I think they've probably wrestled each other like hundreds of times, so they could probably do it with their eyes shut. But the spots and sequences in this match were absolutely mind blowing. Like it just stood out like by a country mile compared to a lot of the other matches on the card.
It has one of the best stomp reversals.
Oh, I agree. Genuinely, I didn't pop that hard at something like that since
the RKO.
The big stomp reversal, yeah.
But how the Royal Rumble's reserved for Kofi's famous Rumble escapes, WrestleMania's kind of become Seth Rollins' stage for ridiculous stomp reversals. Which sucks for him because it means he's always going to get reversed. But
yeah. I'm just gonna throw out a really hot Seth Rollins take that I saw over the weekend. Someone posted that he's just not very good. He just takes moves from Japan and doesn't do them well. For example, his old ripcord knee that he did, which I think Kenny did in their third match with Okada, where he turned the Rainmaker into the knee. I don't know. I kind of agree. I just don't think he's wrestling as well as I've seen him wrestle right now. And I don't know where I'm going with this take. I just don't think he was that. I just don't think he's that great right now. Maybe he's not wrestling. I don't know. He's just not at that stage. He's not as good as Cesaro right now.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know. It doesn't have that fire. When he was a babyface, it didn't matter because it was like, oh fuck, that's Seth freaking Rollins, and he's fighting Triple H, and he just set the ramp on fire. This is sick. But now he's just kind of a heel that does the exact same stuff. I feel like he needs to heal up a little bit more in his moveset, and then maybe I would be like, I'd get behind that a bit more. Right now, I'm loving the character work. Character work's pretty cool, but the moves haven't really caught up to that for me.
I see where you're coming from. I mean, I think you're right in that certain matches he will show up for and absolutely crush it, but then I can think of just as many where I just was either bored or not entertained by them. Like, I think it's at certain points he will just dial up. I thought he did pretty well at this one. I mean, but a lot of that was just having really good offense for Cesaro to sort of transition moves into, especially a lot of tasty looking uppercuts.
I still think he's head and shoulders above a lot of the roster at the moment. And that being said, I still think backstage still mute a lot of people's move sets big time, especially if you say look at the NXT call-ups in particular. And one big example being the Viking Experience Raider boys. They've had their moveset very, very muted by the main roster. Ruby Riot's another one, in fact. So like, it's weird to say that. Like, I still think Seth Rollins can do moves really, really well. I just think that there's not a lot of them.
Well, okay, it might hit. I think it's because I watch a lot of other product. And I watch a lot of New Japan and things like that. Meltzer said it pretty well. He said, at least we know that Seth Rollins has been watching quite a lot of Will Ospreay.
True.
and like, you know, that for me is a little bit weird. It just, a lot of his set feels very derivative of other people. And that's a weird thing. All of wrestling is derivative, you know? Only one person got to invent a DDT, and then everyone just kind of tweaked it a little bit. But it especially with him right now, nothing feels very. When I see a move by him, the only move he does that is just like, oh, that's Seth Rollins that does that, is the stomp, and it's not really much. It's not really a move so much as just like a stomp.
I'd also be willing to throw the buckle bomb in there as well. Whenever I see a buckle bomb, I'm like, Seth Rollins. Mainly because that's the thing that puts Sting on the shelf for God knows how long.
And Balor.
And Balor. And probably someone else.
I don't know. I'm not gonna send allegations like that.
And the man can also do a very good midsection kick. Like, it's one of the main things I notice him do. He does it like twice, maybe 3 times a match. Likes to kick someone in the stomach.
No. And he's just very good at the flippy stuff, but then that's a lot of talent at the moment.
Yeah.
What are we thinking in regards to Cesaro then? Do you think this is going to be the start of him getting something bigger? Do you think there's going to be actual push behind this? Or do you think it was just because, well, you've been with us this long, here's a WrestleMania win?
I'm super pessimistic about it. I mean, I love his WrestleMania moment. I love his genuine reaction to it. And I want there to be a big push.
I mean, the Intercontinental title, as it should be, which is like the worker's belt, is very much made for him. What people want is a main title win. Where is he? He's on Raw still, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
well,
is Seth and Cesaro Smackdown? I think.
Are they Smackdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, you know, I don't see WWE letting Cesaro beat Reigns, so that's the end of that conversation.
It might. There might be one throw-off pay-per-view match where Cesaro will lose, and it'll be sad.
I see them doing a Cesaro gets the visual win, like Bryan got the tap out on Reigns, but doesn't get the win. You know, like he knocks him out, but then also Jay pulls the ref out, and he gets the 3, but doesn't count. Other than that, he's not. He won't get the world title as much as he deserves it, and would be a great chap.
I would love if he got Money in the Bank. I think that would be a good gig. He might get Sandown, but still, I just want to see like a lick of hope in there that he could steal a title win that way.
I could see them maybe putting the belt on him in 2 scenarios. One, just for a transitional moment if they needed it, and the other, if by some miracle we had a repeat of something like Kofi Mania, where just by pure circumstance he is suddenly in the spotlight and the crowd swell.
That's it. You just said crowd swell, and we don't have that. You can't have a Kofi moment when you don't have a crowd to Kofi off of. You can't get that kind of organic thing going right now, because it's very difficult to convince the back that the crowd are behind me when the crowd are on a television screen.
I was really happy about his win. Now I'm just depressed.
Yeah, I'm very pessimistic about it. I see him getting probably going into a feud with Sheamus then, because they have the history there.
Hey, the bar
exactly. The Intercontinentals on SmackDown.
It'd have to be with Apollo Crews.
Well, I guess
that would still be a really
Apollo.
good match.
That would be fine. I don't know how. Yeah, you could build that. Sure. If not, I'd just have him build for a long time and then have him be like Soul Survivor at Survivor Series. do that kind of gig with him. I think just have him rack up a win after win after win. If they keep doing this, right, which is when you know someone's doing well, is when you give them a pretty long match on a massive card that isn't for a title. And to me, that's like you've got some faith behind this guy to just like. That's when you're building them, and when you give him a match against Seth Rollins at Mania, that's some good shit right there. So if they just keep doing that through pay-per-views, just give him high-profile matches against high-profile people. Eventually down the line, maybe me saying that he won't beat Reigns would be me saying, he could beat Reigns.
Yeah.
I mean, I think either way, we'll hopefully see more out of him, which is deserving of it. And you never know, we could be surprised in a year's time where he could be the champion. Who's to say?
And either way, we got a really good Mania match with a really good moment at the end. And at the end of the day, that's fine.
That is fine. Moving on then, it was the AJ Styles and Omos defeating the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. Again, just a pretty solid tag team match. I liked the story they told with that they were just basically keeping AJ away from Omos the whole match. It was a weird shift because usually this is more of a heel tactic, but you can kind of understand why they had to flip that role reversal because they were like, well, we don't want to fucking deal with that big bastard.
Yeah, no, actually, it's actually really like solid to all of them how they can turn that into a face thing, kind of,
Yeah, it's like good strategy almost.
Yeah.
I just think Kofi and Xavier can work with literally anyone and make a match good.
They were also in the ring with AJ, PWI,
so true.
like top wrestler of many years.
It's little wonder Omos came off looking like an absolute megastar because he had 3 of the best workers in wrestling helping him get to that level.
Oh, they made him a monster. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, because that was the thing. He comes in and like just doesn't sell a damn thing. Like
Good.
At all. Good. And that's what you want out of a giant of that size and caliber. You want him to be a believable monster. And I popped massively for the phenomenal forearm off his shoulders, even though it did look a little bit clunky. But at the same time, yeah. But at the same time, it was like that was cool. That was a fun spot. And yeah, not a lot you can really say other than the fact like he looked really good, nearly snapping both members of the New Day in half and pinning them with 1 foot. I think it's going to lead to the obvious dissension with him turning on AJ eventually, because it's obvious that AJ is more. It's probably going to be a lot of tag team matches with AJ doing very little and Omos kind of having to be the muscle for it, but it'll be entertaining to see what happens with it. Yeah. Moving past that then, this match, I think a lot of people weren't really sure what to expect, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Was Braun Strowman defeating Shane McMahon in a steel cage. I think what I liked about it is it didn't go too long, which is why a lot of night one was good. It was all perfectly paced. I thought, if this had been on your full one night event, WrestleMania, I could have easily seen this match maybe going like half an hour, and after 10 minutes, we'd all be like, right, well, can we just get to the fucking end already? They'd have to keep trying to work in spot after spot, whereas they just kind of kept it really concise.
Yeah, it was fine. I think there's more people in there that just shouldn't have been there and are badly booked. For example, Jackson Riker, is that his name?
Yeah.
Teaming with our good old Song Boy, who used to have, like, Elias used to have massive crowd reactions.
Elias used to be so over, or just have a lot of. Remember that one time him and Kevin Owens made an entire arena boo for 15 minutes straight.
He was so incredibly good at getting like massively over or incredible heat.
Yeah,
and now he's attacks Braun Strowman and then gets pushed away.
Yeah,
and then that's it. It's like, all right, cool.
He has a crown for the first time in ages, and they didn't even do a whole walks with Elias thing. It's just like I want him to come to the UK and do the whole like playing along with the chants they're giving me kind of thing that he did.
I mean, does he still do much of the whole live playing?
Not really. Him and Jackson Riker say a couple things, and then they always just get it like I don't know. It's always a bit I kind of skip over for Raw because nothing. Jackson Riker's there just for the sake of I'm still here kind of thing.
He's big and muscly, so they want him. I see.
But, yeah,
the Forgotten Sons are forgotten. So
yeah, they've kind of disappeared again, right? They have legit being forgotten.
That's method.
It's not just method. It's proper meta, is what it is.
I mean, it's a bit unjust given that Riker was the reason why they were off TV for saying stupid things, and yet now he's the one who's prominently still on TV.
This all being said, this match, I think I said it in our group chat as well, had no right being good, but I had a nice time watching it, and I'm puzzled. I mean,
it did what it needed to. It had enough in there that there was some big spots. You gave enough to make Braun look like a monster still by the fact he peeled the cage open.
Oh, great!
And then launch Shane off the top of it. So there's Shane for the night. I
am at the point where I don't want that anymore. I don't want Shane to keep doing that. He's genuinely that looked like one of the worst because he landed a really high angle on the top of his back and like head on the mat, and just
I'd say this was arguably one of his more dangerous ones because usually when he comes off something high, they padded the fuck out the bottom of it. Like when you look at the Hell in the Cell with Taker, you could see the crash pads kind of thing.
Right.
Whereas this was him just landing straight back bump in a ring, and there's very little give or protection for that.
I did wince.
Yeah, a lot of his falls are him doing a drop, or going straight back. This was like a somersault, right? He's going straight over, and it almost felt like he didn't get enough rotation. I think he did. He's fine, hopefully, because I quite like Shane. I think he's funny sometimes. And I love Raw Underground. Raw Underground is my favorite. So I just really want Shane to be okay, and I want more Raw Underground. What were we talking about? Anyway, what's the next match?
Next match. It was again another surprising one, which had nowhere near being as good as it was. Bad Bunny and Damien Priest defeating The Miz and John Morrison.
It's great.
Performance of Mania.
It was great.
The performance of Mania.
Yeah. I mean, the best celebrity performance they've probably had on a card, arguably. Like one of the best, for sure. I mean, I will say, it's clear. Obviously, Miz and Morrison went above and beyond to make him look good. But then equally, it's clear Bad Bunny has put in some of the work himself.
Well, he seemed like a lifetime fan. He's worked very, very well. He's been selling. He's been, he's been a good sport, and he's been, he just seems like he loves the biz. And it came out very good. Would I say it's the best celebrity match in WWE? I'd say it's one of the best celebrity tag matches in WWE. I think Pat McAfee was one of the best celebs in WWE.
That's fair.
That's
a weird one because now, I don't know, is he still a celebrity or is he more talent now?
Well, that's the same with Bad Bunny. He's been there like 2 months.
Yeah, he's been a
mainstay on Raw. He's got more TV time than most people.
I think Randy Orton was essentially calling him a WWE superstar, praising him on Twitter. So
okay, we'll call everyone's first match their celebrity match, and then after that, it's like, all right, well, I guess they're just contracted superstars. I think it was really good. I think maybe we've lost Scott.
Yeah, I think he's just awkwardly frozen.
Anyway.
We'll carry on. Scott, if you can hear us, just sign out and sign back in.
I think that Bad Bunny and Damien Priest have been a great duo. I think it's been a good way of making Damien Priest look very strong. And then he lost on the night after. Okay, cool. Anyway. But yeah, no, it's been good. And I think that was a smart way. If they continue it, it's a smart way to keep Damien Priest, or to just introduce Damien Priest, because he debuted with Bad Bunny, right?
Yeah, he did. He debuted at the Rumble, so technically, same show as Bad Bunny, and then the next night in Raw was like, oh well, these two are friends now, I guess.
Right. Well, that's great. Like, I personally love that when they use a celebrity in tandem with their own talent, and I think this was a perfect start to do it with, not just pair him with, because what they could have done, because the reason he was there is because of his song with Booker T, right? Called Booker T, where Booker T just stands there and then says, "Can you dig it, sucker?" Yeah. But to pair him with Damien Priest, brilliant move. It introduces Damien to the mainstream. It was just like, that's such a good idea. It's so great. And then you don't have him lose on the next show. But whatever.
The guy in his pants.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that. Otherwise, great show. I think Miz and Morrison's intro was shite.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Because they here's what they should have done. Because firstly, they were out of sync with their music, and it was obviously they weren't singing it. That's the point. But they should have just played that up, right? They should have just not sung at all instead of trying to sing over and they should just lip synced and then like been out of sync and then like stop talking and then like the music continues and whatever. And then half the bunnies had lost an ear. Some of them were like holding their head on, and it was just fucking awful. And then Bad Bunny had a great truck, which was cool. Yeah, he had pyro for the road that he was driving on. That's why he had pyro on the road.
You know what? I think I don't know what's happened to me, whether I've marked up heavily, but I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was campy and daft, and it made him look kind of cool.
Just them being like, WrestleMania's back. All the pyro, put it on the road. Get it out there.
Put it on the road. Just imagine
they were driving
home,
the pyro truck
late at night, and just suddenly the road starts sparking.
They were driving the pyro truck, and then it just like they hit a bump and it all fell off, and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Vince, I'm so sorry." And he's like,
"I love it.
Oh, I love it. We're doing it live." Anyway, next match, go. Let's speedball this. We've got a whole other night to do.
We do. Then it ended on arguably the match I'm tied with, what was my favorite of the weekend, which was Bianca Belair defeating Sasha Banks for the Smackdown Women's Championship. I'm stuck between this and the Cesaro match for my favorite. But yeah, hands down, one of the best women matches I've seen on WWE's main brand, possibly ever. It was just so well done.
It was great. It's weird because we had Rhea and Belair coming up, right? And they were two NXT stars. And when you had Rhea feuding with Charlotte, I just didn't expect for it to end up like Belair being the one in the main event and being the one winning on the first night and just main eventing, full stop. But boy, was it fucking great, like great build, great fucking match, amazing reaction at the end. And it just was such a great way to finish a night. No, they couldn't have done that better. No. Interestingly, I think it was Tyson Kidd that produced that match. He also produced the Tag Team Turmoil match as well. So it's like you get the good. It's good with the bad.
Yeah, I guess he used all of his energy on the main event because, like, that was very night and day booking on his part. But yeah, no, I agree. It was an interesting going because, like, I felt like they hadn't really built Bianca up well enough as the new up and coming star. I felt like there was a lot more they could have done in regards to the build to that main event. But then when she got in the ring, she kind of more than proved why she's deserving of being in that spot. She just had an answer for everything that Sasha threw. I mean that bit where it's the suicide dive, she catches her, rolls through, and then just brings her back to the ring.
Yeah,
kind of says all. Obviously, she looked like it was struggling a little bit, but at the same time, that's pretty damn impressive.
If anything, that makes it more babyfacey. Because what she could have done, walked her up and then thrown her out, or thrown her off and thrown her onto something. But it was very babyface in that she walked all the way up just to get her back in the ring and be like, "We're doing this in the fucking ring, baby. Let's go."
This in the ring.
Solid, just great babyface work. Great. It's weird having your babyface being the one that's stronger. It was solid,
and with a very heelish weapon in the form of that weave. Because I mean, that welt it fucking left as well.
Jesus Christ. And the sound it made.
The gunshot's great.
Yeah.
Killer. Absolutely killer. Anything you want to add to it, Scott, given you've been in and out of the chat?
Literally, like, my internet has been great since my brother moved out. I'm not blaming him or anything. But this is the one and only time that my booster has gone down. And it chose this time to go down. So I'm now just using the main Wi-Fi instead. Yeah, the only thing I'll say about this is I think Sasha Banks trying not to break character, but not being able to help smiling at this wonderful WrestleMania moment, but still kind of trying to sell it as a heel. But you can kind of tell she's really happy for Bianca. Kind of says it all. Like it's a really, really. It was like the perfect way to end a great night one.
Well, yeah, I tell you what. One way that was Michael Cole went from a very good call at the beginning where it was just like, for the first time, 2 black women are main eventing WrestleMania, to Sasha Banks kicked out. She kicked out. Sasha Banks kicked out.
Into Bianca's music coming on. He's still determined.
My guy straight up like was like La La Land won. That's what he did. That's what he did right there. This guy. Jesus.
Cole.
It was Corey genuinely had to correct him about 5 seconds into Bianca's song and her celebrating the fact that she just won. The bell had also rang, so Cole's still there like, she kicked out! She kicked out! Ah!
I mean, night one was just full of little botches here. I mean, the ring announcer was probably an even bigger fuck up than that potentially, but I understand it kind of did dampen what was meant to be a huge moment, but it couldn't ruin it altogether. It was still a terrific way to end night one. So we'll shift it to night two.
We won't remember that by next year. They will have scrubbed that.
Yeah.
No.
Like Becky's pin on Ronda. Remember that?
Oh no. Oh. Stop getting women's.
We won't remember that. We won't remember that. We won't remember that. Like we just didn't. We won't remember that. It was night two.
Night two.
And then like night two opens with the absolute wet fart of the Fiend Randy Orton.
So anyway, the second match is
we're not even going to mention any of it.
Honestly, I don't think we fucking should. Let's just not.
The only thing was cool. The first match of night one.
The only thing that was cool is that Bliss had that bleeding crown. That's cool.
Cole's commentary as well was on stellar point. That box-like structure. It's got to handle Michael.
I think that was Byron. I think that was Byron that said box-like structure.
No, I'm sure it was Cole.
It was Cole. It was Cole.
Here I am trying to give Cole some credit, but no.
It's such a Cole call too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's good joining you guys today on this audio recording program. Talking about.
I can't remember who got doused in blood one time. It might have been Balor in their feud with anything to do with the Fiend. It's always just like, he's doused him in some kind of thick red like substance. Is that custard? What? And it's just like it's meant to be. It's blood, but it's just like, what is that viscous thing?
That's just legit how he is as a person. He gets like giving a pizza and goes, "What is this discus bread-like structure?" You know.
I'm nearing the end of what might be a great night. That's how he tells you that he's finishing.
It's boss time.
Vintage.
To bring it briefly back to night one, he even said it again in Sasha's entrance, and I was like, "Leave it. Why?
Stop.
Pack it in. We're fed up." But yeah, back to this
match two.
I
don't want to talk about it.
The Fiend's entrance is good, and I'll leave it as that. I like the Fiend's entrance. Just treat him like you did Kane back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, the out of the Jack in the Box entrance I thought was great. And then the rest of the match happened, and now we move on to match two.
Yeah, like all I said, the fact that the entrances were longer about the same length as the match on night one. Says it all. But yeah, and then kind of carrying on that downward trend was the women's tag team title match, which Nia and Shayna retained against the winners from night one, Natalya and Tamina. Don't really remember much of this match because it was a very forgettable match.
Yeah, to be fair, this is probably one of the big matches in WrestleMania where I just couldn't help but stop concentrating. I respect Shayna in the ring. Jax has her better days, but they're rare. And Natalya's good. And Tamina's very credible as a. Anyways.
When I said move on to match 2, it's because I forgot what match 2 was. Let's move on to match 3.
Hey, let's skip over that. And then on a slightly more upward direction was Kevin Owens defeating Sami Zayn with Logan Paul. I mean, best thing of the night, seeing Logan Paul get stunned.
That was worth it. I would have paid. I would have paid the commission just to see that happen. To be fair,
yeah.
I think very, very solid of him to just respect and sell pretty well. He sold it like just like a basic sort of takeover, but he sold it like I think that was like a solid sell. I would put it up there. How would you rate that in the greatest sells of a stunner?
From 0 to Rock.
Not quite The Rock, and not quite Vince. Like the first time Vince takes one, somewhere in between.
A Foley.
Yeah, maybe a Foley.
Tell you one person. This is a bit of a sidetrack now, but one person who I think sold the stunner. It depends on the sell you're looking for. If you're looking for The Rock overselling, one person who I think sold the stunner the best and most believably was Bret Hart. There's one. Well, a lot of them he sells it where he just takes it and then just goes catatonic, like hit and then just like it looks like his neck takes all of the force and he just falls to the ground. Because that's what a stunner is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like boom, and then all of the pressure goes like right to your neck and knocks you out. And he sold it like that. I think I would give it a good old 7 out of 10 for Logan, especially for his first time. He stayed down. It was solid.
He sold it. He sold it well. I mean, I think this is the thing. Like a lot of people have been telling me, apparently Logan Paul isn't as much of a dick as he used to be. And from looking at this, it seems like he was behaving himself and just going along with everything. I think if this had been him 2 years prior, he would have tried to basically derail the whole match and try and be the center of attention. But this time, he just stayed off to the side. He didn't try and make it all about him. It was strictly about these two.
And he played up being a heel. I mean, people were booing him. People weren't happy. And he played up to it. And he sold well. It's like, what a weird thing having Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, the two non-wrestlers, be two of the better sellers of the 2 days. Like, it's so funny to me, almost.
Yeah, no, I think he did great. Doesn't mean I like him as a person, but it does mean that I very much respect him for recognizing that he is a heel in real life and being like, oh, yeah, I'll just give him this one.
Yeah.
He knows his role and shuts his mouth. After that, it was Sheamus defeating Riddle for the United States Championship. Probably might be my favorite match of the second night, bar the main event. I thought it was really sound. I mean, it was worth it alone just for that finish.
It's great. It is very good. That bro kick was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
When I take off my shoes, birds don't come out.
That is. and they don't have little pirate hats on either.
And they don't wink at camera.
I don't know if this is Vince going like, well, he does weed, and when you're high, birds spin around your head, right? Turning to just, I don't know, the dementia doctor or something.
Quiet, Pritchard. It's a metaphor.
It's. I think that kind of CGI could work. It could be pretty interesting. But they like these PNGs of birds fly like right at the screen. It's basically like it's just like he flicks off the shoes and then in come the birds like. It's awful.
Tell you what these graphics remind me of. Have you guys ever been to a theme park and gone to the 4D rides, like the 4D cinemas, like Trek 4D? They all remind me of that. And this is especially, I think this is the moment. This is the moment where it resonated with me with the birds, because I thought it was going to come out of camera towards me and start fucking making out with me or something.
like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids ride at Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's like. I can imagine a CGI like PS1 era looking Riddle like going did flicking off his shoes going birds coming out and then going you got a spare in like a really shit bowling alley.
I'm just waiting now for the point where home entertainment technology is like a 4D simulator ride at Universal Studios. And then we get like the Riddle flip flop kick, and a flip flop actually comes and hits you in the face.
That's the thing. Now we're part of the wrestling. Now we have to sell it at home as well. So if the flip flop hits us, we have to sell.
Yeah.
Get Riddle over.
Match was good though. So
yeah. Great brogue kick. Sheamus is great. Sheamus very much
scooter, I guess.
Yeah, very. Sheamus is very much Sheamus's time. I love Sheamus now.
Yeah, I mean, Sheamus has always been pretty solid.
Yeah, true. It's a shame for fame.
Anyway, this
words that should make you believe.
This tired eternity. I actually one of my favorite themes of all time.
I wanted to bring it back. It's
way better than what he's got now.
It's a good theme he's got.
It's okay.
I fucking adore just like him being so pale that when the light shines on him, it's just like ah.
That's why there's no sun in Ireland. Everyone would just be blind.
Shiny man.
Following that was Apollo Crews defeating Big E for the IC title in the Nigerian drum fight. It was a street fight.
Yeah,
there were drums. I'll have you know.
and they didn't use
if there was a street, there would be fireworks on it.
Oh man, it's so funny. Because someone got paid money to spend all that effort buying the drums. Then they probably got someone else to articulately like put the drums around the ring. So it's
to spray paint them all green.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's the perfect setup right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Anything else we know about Nigeria? No. Okay, cool. Sure.
A gong, which got more use than the fucking drums did.
I mean,
hey, but though speaking of Raw Underground, Garage,
Dabba-Kato.
Yeah,
Dabba-Kato.
I completely forgot his name, and I'm pretty sure I called him Babatunde when he came out.
It was an interesting finish. If you're setting up if the reason that they broke up the Hurt business is because Vince was like, well, we can't have two black stables. If that was the reason, then I'm pissed off, because that's genuinely something that I feel like would go through his head, where he's just like, well, we can't have that. Wow. But if this is setting up some kind of stable, Nigerian stable, sure, why not? I guess.
They're gonna all have like, because he had the coat on. They're gonna all have that kind of gimmick.
They're all gonna look like fucking Coney 2012.
Well, like, look at the jacket. It was someone through the rumor mill saying that his rumor mill. Something through the rumor mill saying that his new name is like General Aziz or something like that.
Yeah, they've changed his name apparently.
Yeah, that's the reaction I was expecting. I saw that after Raw, and you'll soon know how Raw made me feel, and that made me feel more so. And just like, there's paying homage to the past. The past was great, but that's the wrong bit. That is such the wrong bit.
If you're gonna do a gimmick that is like a heritage type thing, right? If you're gonna do paying respect to something, I feel like you shouldn't bring in that kind of imagery.
Yeah.
I feel like Vince watched Coming to America for the first time and just went, yes. This
I don't know. That's not the same. Coming to America at least has like some, especially. I mean, the newest one has just come out, but like at least that has some kind of pride and positive imagery. This is. I'm just very worried that Vince is just gonna make Boko Haram 2, and
I'm worried he's going to try and reel into it as well. Like,
well.
Is that why they got? Is that why they took away Cedric and Shelton to then put them in big general jackets and call them very, very racially dicey names? Like
they're gonna get Kofi to come back and join the stable, but then give him a dodgy accent again.
No, they're gonna make him do a Jamaican accent that's trying to put on an African one.
Yeah,
make it go full circle. I like it. Pritchard, write this down.
Garrett just looks sad at all this.
Whatever. Well, I genuinely here's how I know that it's gonna end up being booked. Right, they're gonna Black Panther 2, I believe, comes out next year, and somehow Vince is gonna make that part of it. He's gonna just like make them start doing this because
hailing from Wakanda.
Already has the get up though. He already does the.
He wore that, and it was pretty sick gear, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I really like Apollo Crews though.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. He's sick.
And yeah,
6 out of 10. Not enough drums. Remember Chekhov's gun, dudes.
Chekhov's drum.
Chekhov's drum.
Final note on that is that Apollo shouldn't. I think he shouldn't have needed someone. I think.
No,
they're just going to break them up in 4 weeks. So
whatever. Yeah, it won't last. As we've seen with most stables that they try to make now, even the successful ones will not last as long as they should. Moving on. Next match was Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka to become the Raw Women's Champion. I thought it took a while for the match to get going, and when it did, it was good, but there was no final act structure to it. If you get what I mean, it just felt like
it's kind of passing from my mind, to be honest.
Yeah,
it was just a match. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they could put on a better match. It's like Shinsuke and AJ again for me.
You know what? Genuinely, they should have saved this to main event Raw the next night.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I heard they didn't have a good one on Raw, though.
No.
The one on Raw was
would have moved it to then, so you know.
So it could have been better, is what you're saying.
Right. What I'm saying is let them main event Raw. And I feel like this would have been better and more of a moment. I understand why it was a Mania, but
the one on Raw was better apart from the ending, but we'll get to that.
I mean, it was just nice seeing Rhea get a win back from last year, but the match could have been better for sure. And then rounding off was the triple threat, Roman Reigns defeating Edge and Daniel Bryan to reclaim the Universal Championship. Solid main event. Really enjoyed it. It was perfectly entertaining. You had everything you'd kind of want out of a triple threat scenario, and I thought all three men looked basically amazing throughout the whole match.
It was very good. I think that the crowd are a little bit tired of Bryan.
He didn't seem as much to the pop as he used to.
Right.
There was people chanting yes, but it wasn't nowhere near as how it used to be.
There were quite a few no's that I heard as well. But to be honest with you, I think this match was fine, good. I would have had a triple threat main event, another pay-per-view, and I genuinely think Edge and Roman could have carried this better, just as those two. I think that would have been a better story. Just having them spear versus spear. There was that spot where
them flashing into each other.
Well, they had that spot where they both did a spear, and it was like, that's so stupid. I love it. because it's the kind of thing I did with like my action figures when I was a kid. I was like, what if they both speared at the same time? And then they did, and I was like, this is as good as I imagined it.
I mean, it's just about the same as when two people try and go for a crossbody at the same time.
Now it's better because they like kind of almost headbutted. It was great.
Yeah.
I like the spot where they both got the submission on Roman, and they're both just headbutting each other. I thought that was very Daniel Bryan. Very Daniel Bryan.
It was. It didn't look very impactful for a lot of it though. That kind of just felt a little bit like. I don't know. I felt that felt a little bit. The spot was cool, but
it wasn't like Shibata and Ishii headbutting each other.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
very much more WWE safe. But so someone did. It's a great comparison that Roman and Seth were brothers to the end with the face selling that he had. Because someone put the picture of Rollins where he does that really, that wacky screaming face, and then it's Reigns. He did look very cartoony when he had the chair in his mouth.
They sell well.
Solid
match, solid ending to Mania.
Who did we have? Who did each of you have for the main event, by the way?
Roman.
Edge.
Brian.
Ah,
foolish. Foolish.
I was a little surprised when he won, and I mean, it was quite a solid way just to keep showing how dominant he was by the fact he pinned both men at the same time. But then it brought up the questions of, but did Brian technically pin Edge?
Yes.
Or the way around. Yeah. Are they going to lean into that on SmackDown? Who can tell? No, they won't. Well, that build went nowhere. But yeah, overall, I think it was. I'd say night one was solid, and then night two was very much of a mixed bag. Overall, it was resulted in a mixed bag of a Mania. I'd say just watch night one and have fun with it.
Yeah, I would say it's certainly better than a lot of the Manias that I've watched live because Greg, if I'm to reference a night when I slept through the entire main event of one Mania and missed nothing.
Yeah.
That was Reigns versus Triple H. Yeah. Scott
made it right until that match started, fell asleep, and then woke up right at the end. We're like, yeah, you didn't miss much. It was absolutely
sleepy lad, sleepy boy,
sleepy boy. Yeah, I'd say a solid 7 out of 10 Mania. Like night two let it down a little bit. If night two was a little bit, if Fiend was a little bit better, if Women's Tag was a little bit better, it would have been closer to an 8.5. But
it'd have been up there as one of the best.
You know, I think that was a really good season finale. And then, you know, I think it's good that the show didn't get picked up for any more episodes and it didn't continue. And that's the end of WWE for now. Maybe they'll do a reboot down the line.
Maybe. Under a different track.
But you know what? If you're going to end WWE on what are we on season 37, I think this is a solid ending point. And yeah, well, that's been a pleasure talking to you all, and that's the end of the podcast. And yeah, we're done. Raw after Mania.
So here's the thing. I've only seen a couple of highlights, and I've only heard about how bad it was. So
we can just lie to you?
Yeah, go for it. Would anyone like to take the lead on this and kind of go through everything for me?
Wait, hold on. Yes.
Would you like to take the lead on this?
Absolutely. Let's get the Wikipedia up and go through it bit by bit, baby.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, like Raw after WrestleMania, they've built it up now with such mystique that it's always going to be like, oh, it's going to be the best Raw of the year. And you know what? Typically, it can be. There's usually a good return. There's usually
a lot happens. Usually, there's it is the season premiere. You know, you got to start strong. It's like you end it on a. You close up a bunch of stories at Mania, and then you're like, let's make some stories going forward. Let's go. Because WrestleMania is the culmination. You don't want a WrestleMania match to be the midpoint of a story. You know, you want it to be it's the show of shows. It's where everyone goes to settle a difference. And this is why the Raw after Mania is such an important thing. It has to convince people that, like, you know, it only gets better. We're going to continue stories. We're going to build them, and the champions that have just won are going to, you know, continue. It's going to be good and fun. And then the cameras turned on.
Oh boy, did they! Oh, right. Okay, this might not be in completely chronological order because there's not a Wikipedia on it yet. I'm going on the Give Me Sport website. But they do have bold and subtitles, which are the things I'll go over with you. First one, like I said, may not be in chronological order, but Bobby Lashley defeats Matt Riddle. I believe this happened when Bobby Lashley, following his unbelievably accredited win at WrestleMania in front of a live crowd, walked backstage to find Gran Metalik, Humberto Carrillo, and someone who asked for an autograph, and he was like, yeah, sign the autograph. Then Riddle was like, I'm funny and annoying. And Lashley was like, yeah, you are. I'm not going to give you a match. Riddle was like, are you sure? And Lashley was like, actually, yeah, come on then. And then they had a match where Lashley, I think I saw some kind of statistic earlier today where someone calculated the fact that Lashley had 98% of the offense, whilst Riddle had the subsequent 2%, and was, of course, defeated by Bobby Lashley in a very, very dominant win. And I get making him look strong. But Riddle's already lost. Riddle lost to Sheamus. Riddle's just lost his title the night before. Why would you have him lose so decisively in such a mind-splitting burial of a man we know is an accomplished MMA fighter, and he got decked the entire match? I don't know what Garrett's doing.
It's probably painfully obvious now that
something painfully macabre about that.
No, I think it's just obvious that maybe Vince is kind of done with Riddle now. He's probably like, he's not as funny as he once.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah. It's just such a shame because I mean we're all big fans of Riddle. I mean we all saw him back when he was on the Indies, and we all loved him in NXT. And his main roster run has just been. For one thing, I did quite like a lot of his backstage segments. I thought they were funny when he was just playing up to that type. But it was just the fact that when it came to the in-ring stuff, they just weren't letting him shine like he could be. And this is prime example.
Here's the thing. They've given him flip-flop birds. All right, next match.
Bird guy. Like, just before we go,
Uh-huh.
Riddle said when he joined NXT, he was like, I would love a match against Brock Lesnar. And we were like, fuck yeah. Imagine
Not
that.
now.
Imagine that. But no, now he'd just get the Ricochet treatment if it ever happened. But he's a credible MMA guy and a really good wrestler.
No, well, here's the thing. No one on the roster could probably beat Matt Riddle right now in a fight. No one. Literally fucking no one on the roster could beat Matt Riddle because he's legit. I wouldn't be surprised if he could topple and take Lesnar to the ground as well. You know, I mean there are weight classes for a reason, but
yeah,
Riddle he's fucking legit. He's also high all the time, and he's legit. I don't know. Whatever, we'll see.
Sad. I was at one point Bobby Lashley threw the scooter, and I was like, "Feel that." Viking Raiders returned. That's good.
War Machine returned. Yes.
War Machine.
They're a War Machine, aren't they?
Well, they've ever since they were given that title and name or whatever, they've raised the age for like TV 13 or TV 14 or whatever. Anyway, just call them at least War Raiders. At least. Fridge Raiders is better than fucking Viking, whatever.
Get a good sponsorship out of that as well.
I say raise it to TV14 to call them Kill Bastards, then I'll be happy. They, however, defeated two people I really, really like, as in Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, and they defeated them decisively. Well, there was a bit of a back and forth. They did get their offense in, but as per usual, this match wasn't about them. It was about the Viking Raiders. And it showed. It was quite nice seeing them together in the ring again. I like the both of them. I like everyone in this match, but this is an altogether horrible Raw, and it made me feel bad for Cedric and Shelton because they're both some of the best wrestlers on the roster right now.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So what else happened upon the car crash? Well, gentlemen, let me guide you to the windshield to show you what's happened over there. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. A little bit better than their Mania program. However, in a so that's me, I bet you're wondering how I got here moment, Charlotte kicked them to get a DQ because beforehand she made this big shoot speech about her being well upset about not being on Mania, and because all the women roster hate her because of the Andrade interview, but that wasn't said. But she ran down everyone. She made a statement. Look, being a heel again, which is great. They were actually piping in booze to the Thunderdome. Fine. But yeah, the match ended in DQ, and I hate it.
Yeah, I heard this happen, and I was kind of confused as to why did she come out before the match? Like, if you're bringing her back as like a heel again, why not have the surprise speech she comes out at the end of the match to end the match, then do the speech that she did?
Yeah,
and
it depends.
I
Was
can't
she?
figure out if it was meant to be a shoot, that speech?
It depends if through the day she was advertised for the show, because that's what the TV, that's what Peacock would say, and that's what all of these. It's the same with TNT on AEW. They were pissed off that they didn't announce Sting.
Yeah.
They said, "Why the fuck didn't you announce Sting? That would be really good for ratings." And they were like, "Oh, sorry, we like wrestling, so we're not going to do that." Yeah. It's why they didn't announce Christian. They announced Paul White. They announced Paul White, who could announce a signing. And if you know, WWE think that you know, she'll be good for ratings, then they don't give a shit if it's a
But was she announced
surprise.
Before?
That's what I'm saying. It might have been on TV over there, where it was just like, she's gonna be here later. Come and watch.
But even then, you would have had like a Facebook post or something about it. We'd have heard something. It wouldn't have
possibly not. Possibly not. We don't get a lot of the advertising that they get, and I wouldn't be surprised if because of, you know, the recent acquisitions, there's a lot going on about, you know, who's getting what and what's not.
Fair enough.
Before this as well, there was another promo I missed out because I forgot about it, and rightfully so. And it's a shame because it's Rhea Ripley who's doing the promo, and it's just your bog standard. You have your WrestleMania win. How do you feel? WWE script, wooden presentation. Something she might have been given about 5 minutes before she got on camera. She briefly wrote on her palm or something to remember. I feel sorry for her and the poor bastard who was probably sweating bullets writing that.
I did it. I won at WrestleMania.
Let's all weigh him. Fuck.
Oh, why am I so sweaty?
like literally 2 nights ago was some of the best backstage interview promos that have happened in WWE for a while, and it kept them propped up for a good half hour, and it was some great character work.
All right, ready? Quick fire. Now, you've just been thrown out. You're Rhea Ripley. Give a. I've just won speech. Go, Scott. Go.
I'm great. Look at my spiky coat.
Greg, go.
I'm great. I am brutality. Wasn't my WrestleMania entrance cool, even though she couldn't sing.
All right. I'm Rhea Ripley. I was down under, but now I'm up and over. And then she holds up the title for 20 minutes.
I like that, actually.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
And then she says "Suffer and Succotash." Next match, go, Scott.
The gift keeps on giving. Miz and John Morrison have Miz TV with a returning Maurice, who I think is the only return on this Raw after WrestleMania. I get it, not having any fans. Viking Raiders, yeah, but like, yeah, okay.
Put it this way: there was no big NXT call up on this Raw, or there was no big returning name after years off TV, was there? It was all just talent that's already there, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's because the season finale of Miz and Mrs. was that event.
Yeah. There was even on the YouTube channel highlights of Miz and Mrs. in like amongst the Raw highlights as well. So I thought when looking at that it was part of Raw and it was something I might have missed. But no. See, there's the Miz TV segment. Damien Priest interrupts. They all praise Bad Bunny, all of them, heel and face. They're like, Bad Bunny was dope. To be fair, he was. And then they're like, oh, let's have a match. Oh, wait, it's a 2-on-1 handicap match. But Miz and Morrison aren't in their ring gear. They're just in their suits. Through the match, Miz ends up in his underwear. And through Maurice, I guess Maurice distracts at points. But then also Miz gets a dirty pin in his underwear on Damien Priest. And they win.
Whatever. It's fine. Making Damien Priest look like a bit of a tit, but whatever.
I mean, he already seems to be going on the pile of failed NXT call-ups. If this is how they're going to,
we'll see. He got a high-profile Mania match
but Bad Bunny outshone him.
Yes,
but he was meant to. But Bad Bunny was meant to outshine Damien Priest because
it was in some way supposed to be I hope supposed to be some kind of symbiotic thing.
Yeah,
right, where they help each other.
But like everyone was there to put the platinum-winning celebrity guy over, like because he's big guest. Look at all the merch sales he's getting. Has put him over, and he did well. But then you'd think, oh, as a reward for doing such a good job of getting him over, he'd get better than this, and he got this. What's this? This ain't good. He's in his pants. Cut it out. There's even the picture. It's daft. He's in his. It looks like Weird Missionary. Anyway, where were we? Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeat Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke by countout.
Next match.
We did say we'd talk about this later.
I'm okay. It's all just falling apart.
See, in Sun Tzu's famed book, The Art of War, it specifically mentions the part where to truly defeat your enemy, you must, I guess, run away. That's true victory.
So what happened here was, did they legit just leave the match and they try to build that up as that was the better thing to do?
So the thing that was happening in this segment was that they were referencing the moment at WrestleMania because of the weather and the slippery ramp, and she didn't even slip up that bad. Mandy Rose slipped up once, like minor. She recovered. Dana Brooke barely even noticed it happened. Ha ha ha. Wasn't even that big a wrestling moment because you know what? We didn't mention it earlier, so it mustn't have been that big. And so they were putting that over, and Nia Jax is still reeling from my whole thing. Was pretending to make fun of her, then slips, then they start laughing. Nia Jax gets mad. Bearing in mind this is a title match. Right. The challengers get wary, get onto the ramp, and they go, "Oh nah, this is on our terms. Nah, we're fine. We don't want anything to do with that." And they're getting counted out, and it goes all the way to 10. And I can't remember what commentator said it. It was either I can't remember who said it.
I heard Saxton.
Better to win by count out than win the titles.
Yeah, they were putting over this as some kind of genius move on the challenger's part, but they lost. Yeah. They lost their chance of the titles because the champions retained. What was it?
Yeah, better to lose by count out than to win like this or something.
Yeah,
it sounds like a Saxton line.
It does sound. It probably was Saxton, but I was watching it so confused. I was like, wait, so do they get another shot at a later date? Is that what they're... But then they already had their shot.
I was going to say, tradition dictates they should be at the back of the queue now, and that's their own fault.
Yeah. So, what? Who? And then their music started playing. The guys who got counted out, their music... Their music started playing, and their heels looked really mad. And I was like, why? What just happened is that you got offered a free title retention on the Raw after WrestleMania. They just gave you that. Don't be pissed off. I'll be over the moon. What is with this? I'm spitting all over my laptop. I'm angry. This is just it is.
Jared's just
Jared's just had whiskey.
I think he's legit broken.
I don't like wrestling anymore. Don't full screen me. Fuck off.
That just sounds like it made little to no fucking sense. What were they thinking?
I get it. She slipped. Ha ha. That's great. It was wet. And it's a ramp. Of course I'm surprised she was the only one that slipped. Don't degrade the tag titles even further by doing this. Horrible.
That just sounds like all kinds of dumb. I just don't understand what they were trying to achieve with that, if anything.
Garrett, any parting words?
No.
Move on, Scott. I think we're killing Garrett slowly.
Oh, we've gone from the car crash to the rabbit hole. Let me dive into it and just talk about what's this? Oh yeah, New Day defeating Elias and Jackson Riker because they're an insult to the tag division. That's a word. That's something that Xavier Woods said. Because they got beaten up by Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, they're an insult to the tag division. Now,
I didn't think they were even really meant to be classed as a tag team. I thought he was his bodyguard. I don't know.
Me too. But not only that, didn't they just lose to Omos?
Yeah, that is very true.
And this is something that was pointed out in the promos. But New Day were like, nah, you're the disgrace. It's you. And then the New Day won in a match that was okay.
I'd be kicked out of the writers' room in a fucking second because I would just I'd be like with the script, like, this doesn't make any sense. And then the next page, I'd be like, well, this doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. And they'd be like, no, but they're gonna walk up the ramp, and then they're gonna say, we don't want to win like this. And then commentary will say, this is a good idea.
And if commentary say it must be true.
What if we want to? Okay, well, so okay, it says here we're going to put Jackson, Riker, and Elias up, and we might as well, make them a tag team and everything. It says here that we're going to call them a pathetic, sad excuse for a tag team. on their tag debut. Yeah, I'd be fired very quickly.
You'd be hired and fired on the same day. You're not wrong though.
Hold on. This says when Matt Riddle flicks off his shoes, birds come out. Okay, this one I fucking love. This one's great. This one is really good. This one is really good.
Notch.
He's and then he loses to Bobby in a match where he gets 2% of the offense. Okay, you good with the bad. Good with the bad. You get the good with the bad. You get the good with the bad. It's fine.
50-50 booking. I see what you're doing there.
Good. It puts no one over. I like it.
Move on, Scott. What's next?
We'll finish it off with the main event, which was a number one contender for the WWE title between Drew, Randy Orton, and Braun Strowman, who all came down earlier in the night and did the classic thing where, like, champs in the ring and they're like, I won. And then everyone comes down and is like, well, I want to go at that. And it's just all people who won from the night before. You're Braun Strowman's. You Randy Orton's.
The thing is, a wrestling fan's mind doesn't need 20 minutes of like, I won my match last night. I should be in this match. A wrestling fan's mind goes, oh, they all won their match last night. Yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it needs. Doesn't need qualifiers. Yeah. It's just like the Smackdown 6 back in the day, right? If you put them in a main event with any combination of whoever and just said whoever wins this might get a chance for whatever, you'd be like, sick, they're really fucking great. Let's do it. Cool. That's all you need to do, right? Fuck the preamble. Give him more time. Fuck it. Because Orton just won his match and he was great. Drew didn't, and he shouldn't be there. And Braun Strowman won his match, and he's great. I don't really know why Drew was there. They supposedly they made a big deal a few years ago about you don't get a rematch anymore.
Oh yeah, that was an entire segment, a promise made, in fact, by the McMahons themselves that had stopped automatic rematch clauses. Yeah,
so you don't get a rematch anymore. So anyway, at WrestleMania Backlash, it's a rematch between Drew and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, because Drew won, and it was a cool finish to the match. There was a pin that was broken up by a Claymore to the head, which is dope.
That's cool.
It was a good finish, and Drew's good. I like Drew, so, but at least Drew's good.
Nah, this wasn't the right thing to do. This is a terrible idea. They should have had it be either the other two or just someone else, and just start having Lashley kill people.
How are them? I just don't want to see any of them in the world title picture.
I want to see Braun versus Lashley just because the Hurt Lock's been a big thing, and it's like, how is he going to lock in the Hurt Lock on someone who's the size of a skyscraper?
Well, see, like, I do want to see them. I want to see Orton versus Lashley. I want to see Strowman versus Lashley. I want to see Lashley fucking destroy them to the point where you Vince goes to Brock and goes, here's 4 million. Please come back and fight Lashley, please. And at that point, you're like, well, no one's beaten Lashley. And it feels credible that they're not going to give it to Lesnar, you know?
I could buy that.
But anyway, Drew will probably win it back at WrestleMania Backlash. WrestleMania : Backlash.
However, let me take you to the ending of Raw. Because Drew winning with that nice spot would have been a great end to Raw.
That's where it ended, and then nothing else happened.
Nope. There's a couple ways, slight ways, that I would have done this slightly different for it to be well received. But no. And I genuinely have to look at the article to get their names. T-Bar and Mace of Retribution run in and attack Drew McIntyre on Bobby Lashley's behalf.
Right.
Seemingly teaming up with the Hurt Business, who they lost to not too long ago. They didn't come back as Dijakovic and that other guy. Who was the other guy? Who was Mace?
He's on Instagram as the Black Otaku. I can't remember his name though. He's
cool though. He looks cool. Not with the Retribution stuff, but like,
have they got rid of the masks and stuff now as well?
No. They're still there. They're still Mace and T-Bar. No sign of Slapjack or Mustafa Ali as they come
Mustafa Ali got kicked out.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I genuinely forgot because I think that says a lot in itself. I guess they're setting this up to be like, oh, so many questions. What could we do in this scenario? There's so many possibilities. We'll find out next time on Raw. But I'm not interested. I'm not.
No. They're clearly just making shit up as they go along.
Yeah.
Look at the Fiend stuff as well, because I know there was some Fiend stuff, but apparently that didn't really fucking go anywhere either.
Yeah, that wasn't on this page. Sorry, I forgot about the Firefly Funhouse coming back, which I guess is another return, but nothing happened on it. He just said hi to all the puppets again. It's nice to have the Firefly Fun back. It was very campy. Sister Abigail called Alexa Bliss a bitch, which was funny. But that was all that came from that. He started saying that he was reborn. Then Alexa Bliss was sat on a swing with a puppet that looked like it was made by a 1-year-old, and then it started talking, and it was so dumb.
Again, they're just making shit up as they go along at this point. Like, I just don't think they've got any clear vision for the bulk of the storylines, especially the Fiend and Alexa Bliss. I think literally as weeks come along, they're like, hey, this could be a cool idea. Let's do this. And most of the time now it's just coming across as, well, you're just making the Fiend look like crap. You're just ruining the character over again. I think Vince just likes to challenge Bray to see how many times he can reinvent and keep
how far he can push
character.
Him.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, so you got over this time. Well, let's see if you can do it this time. And you're just like, just let him do his thing, man.
Maybe he's trying to give him a free faces of Foley kind of thing. Or something. I don't know. I'm just clutching at straws here. This was by the way, the second most watched Raw of the year, behind Legends Night.
I feel for those people who watched it live. I really do. It sounded awful.
It lasted forever. Is what it did. I forgot about a lot of the things that happened in it. That's why I had to go on GiveMeSport.com to remind myself of what fucking happened.
Garrett. Garrett, are you okay? You got anything you want to say there, buddy?
I think next week, can we just talk about like anything else?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Sure.
Next week, we're talking about New Japan.
Yeah, buddy, we sure are. Don't worry about it. I mean, I think that's kind of like the perfect summation of this past week. Started off really good, and as it kept going, it just kept going down.
Yeah,
until it hit the fucking end. Well, I think that'll probably do it for this week, lads. I think Garrett's ready to go hang himself again.
I was planning on streaming after this, but I genuinely, having been reminded of Raw, don't think I will. I was gonna go and unwind. I was gonna play some Phoenix Wright and do some like fun voice acting and things like that. But genuinely, I might just go to bed.
It might cheer you up.
To bed.
Just stream. It might cheer you up. Forget about it. I did. I forgot about it until I looked on the website.
Why don't we all go play Jack in Box? That'll make you feel better.
Jack in Box.
Jack
oh,
box.
You mean like box-like structure?
Yeah, box-like structure again.
Goodbye.
Well, yeah. If you want to check us out, can find us on the social medias. Scott, why don't you go through it? It's your debut.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Is there any etiquette I should follow, or is it just as it's written?
Just as it's written.
Fantastic. Please follow the Bearhug Club podcast on Facebook and YouTube. Bearhug Club Pod on Instagram. And Bearhug Club on Twitter. Love them because they're great, and I'm here now.
He is here now. And also keep your eyes peeled because I am finally setting up a proper website. It'll be a one-stop shop. I've been able to find everything, so it's not all over the fucking place, including my other podcast, Young Man Yell at Clouds. So keep an eye out.
Oh, yeah. Young Man Yell at Clouds, of course. I can't wait for the new
episode. While it's here.
Oh, yeah.
Young Man Yell at Clouds, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Young Man Yell at Clouds, all one word, Instagram. I'm hoping to get the guys on from the Bearhug Club podcast at some point. I want a revolving door of guests for that show, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, I guess we'll catch you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Mwah.